Well, hey, that was the 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. You're back in the room. There we go. How are we doing? Hot this weekend, wasn't it? I was rubbish yesterday. I was a right whinging mess because it was too hot. It was too hot. It was only 23 degrees as well, but it was humid, and I'm from the northeast, and it was too hot. Anyhow, how do you make stress work for you? This has been something I've been meaning to talk about for ages, actually, and then one of the guys this morning put me onto a TED talk by a lady called Kelly McGonigal, he said. So I watched it, and it was all about how you can make stress work for you. Like, people try and avoid stress, any stressful situations. However, you can't avoid them. You're always going to get stressed, right? It's just a thing. It's a thing. And if you spend your life trying to avoid it, it can cause even more stress. Because then when you do find some, because it will turn up, when you do find it, you've got no idea how to deal with it. No idea how to deal with it. So I was thinking about this, actually, and I watched the TED talk, and there's loads of there's loads of facts and figures in there to back it up, and I'm not going to go into all of that. You can watch the talk yourself. It's Kelly McGonigal, she's called. It's really good, and it's about she goes on about the physiological effects of stress as well, and how you can actually make it work for you. Okay, and this got me thinking. The guy Rob who told me about it this morning, because he's into all this sort of stuff, which is why he comes along to me, because he saw me doing these videos and all the other stuff I've done, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds good," and he came along. And he's 60 as well, so you're never too young, too old. You're never too young either. You're never too young or old. It's always the right time, is what I'm trying to say. So, I was thinking about this because I used to have what you would call a stressful job, because I was a trader for a big utility firm. And the thing is, what I do now is more stressful than the job I had, because I'm responsible for myself. I don't get paid unless I step up and do the work. Okay? I'm working for myself. I don't get sick pay, I don't get holiday pay, I don't get any of that. So I have to make this work, and if it doesn't work, I'm screwed. And I go back to whoever I was beforehand, which I don't particularly want to. So, the job I had before, where I was getting paid well by a company, and I could kind of hide, because it was a big old company, so I could hide in it, and you can do that for years in these places, and people do. That was considered a stressful job. And it was. I used to get stressed. I used to get well stressed. But the thing is, it had the comfort, it had the cushion behind it. I was getting paid monthly. And eventually it all came to an end, which was more relief than anything. I didn't feel stressed once it came to an end. I got made redundant from this job because my heart wasn't in it. Which, if it was up to me, I would have made me redundant. Right? So what I'm doing now, my heart wasn't in it, so they got rid of me. That was a massive relief. I remember the day it happened. I was like, wow, I'm so glad that's happened. I was really happy about it. It's been hard since then, because I've been setting up BKS, which is what I do now, in the online program and all that sort of stuff. And that's been super stressful. However, it has meaning for me. It has meaning for me. It has meaning for the guys who come along as well, because they get great results. But it has meaning for me as well, because I want to make it the best thing I possibly can. And I don't like to rest. I don't want to rest until I have, but I never will, because it can always be improved, right? Which is why I'm always improving it. And the stress behind that I get from the fact that I think pretty much weekly that it could be improved. And if I don't improve it, everyone will leave, and I'll end up with nothing. Everyone's going to leave, and I'm going to have no clients, no students, no people who come along, no members. All the online people will leave because they'll see that happen, and this is what I think all the time, and that's stressful. However, I use that gives me meaning. And this is what Kelly McGonigal goes on about at the end. She goes through her talk. It's about a 15-minute talk, so watch it on YouTube or wherever. And at the end, a guy comes on and they have a very brief interview. He asks a quick question. And she says, as long as you give stress meaning, therefore, then it won't cause the same physiological effects that can cause like illness and heart disease and all this sort of stuff, and cause you to overeat and stop doing exercise and get angry and upset and, you know, all these stupid things, all these things that you go to find, like, you know, going boozing, doing drugs, whatever, going and having a strum just to alleviate stress. Oh, yeah, I did just say that. All of this sort of stuff, right, shows up when you get stressed and you don't know what to do about it. You can't see through to the other side. But if you give it a meaning, so what she says as well is people who have that stress but have somebody who they can rely on, like an emotional connection with somebody to help them through that stress, it gives it meaning and it makes it easier to handle. Okay, so that could be anybody, right? I have that with a group of guys in the Unstoppable Bastards thing I'm in, with my coach. It's a group of guys who all get exactly where I'm at now because they've all done it. And most of them are further ahead than me. I'm in there watching these guys, and it's not all fitness professionals. There's a financial guy in there, there's a guy in construction in there, and there's a few other guys who've just come in who I don't really know yet, but there's a couple of guys who own a gym and are making, you know, doing really well out of that, making loads of money out of doing that and everything, and it's like, right, that's brilliant, and they provide such great service and all that, so I've got all these guys to learn from. I'm not looking at it and saying, I'm not ready for all this, I'm rubbish, and all these guys are much better than me. I'm looking at it and saying, right, I'm well behind these guys because they've all been doing it a hell of a lot longer than me, so I can learn a shitload from them. And I do, which is why I love it. Right, and why it works, and it gives me the stress to keep up, because it's easier to keep up than to catch up. And this is what I say to people who want to join BKS but aren't sure, or sitting there thinking, you might be sitting there thinking, no, I'm not fit enough, I'm not healthy enough, I need to get fit before I come along, which is always a weird thing, I think, anyway. You know it is as well, but you still say it. You know, all these things that are stopping you doing something, not even coming to BKS, just going and joining a gym or doing whatever, or starting some sort of thing to improve your health and fitness. These are the things that stop you doing it, right? Because it's stressful, and because you want to say, right, I want to do it on my own first, because I might look stupid if I join a group or something like that. I want to do it on my own first. But if you haven't got... So this is where people talk about the Simon Sinek thing, start with why and all this sort of stuff. That's a thing. That is a thing. However, it's a similar thing to that. If you do want to lose weight, if you do want to get fitter, stronger and healthier, all of that sort of stuff, if it hasn't got a meaning to it, if you're just doing it for no meaning, what does it mean? This is why people end up going and joining a fitness class, standing at the back, jumping up and down, doing nothing really in particular, getting the sweat on and leaving and going, right, I've just earned my KFC bucket or whatever, you know, I can go and eat what I like and never lose weight. That's what happens. It hasn't got a meaning. It doesn't mean enough to you to do it. You just think, it's what people do. It's what I have to do. I should be fitter, stronger and healthier. Why? Well, because I should. But so what? What happens if you are? What do you get at the end result? What happens if you are? Well, I might live longer. Okay, brilliant. But what does that mean? Well, it means I'll be around for my kids. I'll be able to dance at the wedding. All right, hang on. Now we're getting somewhere, right? Now we're getting somewhere. You know, it means I won't be. It means I won't be a tired, emotional, stressed out time bomb. I won't be a wreck at home at the end of the week. I won't be like get home and be annoyed with everyone, be annoyed with the kids for no reason, just because some bloke's had a go at me at work or something like that, or some woman or whoever. The boss has been having a go at me, dragged me in a room and told me I'm shit. That happened to me as well, by the way. These things stress the fuck out of you, right? But if there's no meaning to it, it's just going to stress you out. You're not going to know what to do about it. If you give it a meaning, so a stressful situation like joining a group of people who know exactly where you are, who know what you're talking about, which is what I'm part of to make me better, and it's what I've created here. So the guys who come down, I'm pointing over there because it's actually the park just over there behind the house. But if you join something like that, the guys who join me, it then gives the meaning for what they're doing. They're like, hang on, there's a bunch of other guys here. There's ladies as well, but it's mainly guys. There's a bunch of other guys here who've all got what I want. They've all got what I want as well. I'm talking about you here, but as in me as well. they've got what I want as well. They've all gone from being where they're at and being unhappy with their health and fitness to being where they're now happy. And it's not been all about losing weight or anything like that, not being all about how much they can lift. It's just about doing something positive consistently over a period of time. And that just that gives it meaning. That gives it meaning because there's other people who are there. There's other people that go through it with them. There's other people that help them out. Emotional connection. And this is blokes we're talking about with emotional connection. It does happen, right? So if you give that meaning, it's not stressful anymore. Or the stress shows up differently and it becomes excitement. It's the same symptoms. Your heart races, you sweat a bit, you feel a bit out of your comfort zone. That's the thing, but out of your comfort zone, you're doing something that you're not comfortable with. However, you can see, because it has meaning, you can see where you're going to be 3 months down the line, even 2 weeks down the line, because there's other guys there who've done it. And they'll help you out with it. They tell you that they've done it. They tell you how, they know exactly how you're feeling. I know exactly how you're feeling because I was exactly the same when I started. This is how I feel with the group of guys I'm with. It's not about fitness. It's more about, well, it's about everything, but it's more kind of based around running a business without it fucking the rest of your life up. This is how I am with them because I still feel like I'm catching them up. And it's uncomfortable, but it's exciting because it has a meaning, because it means I can pay for stuff that I want to. It means I can go on holiday. It means I can use the money. This is another thing Rob said. He said it's really good because what you do is you charge us money, we come along, and then you use that money and go and learn more stuff. Of course I do, because otherwise everyone will leave. We're back to this again. So there you go. That's how to make stress work for you. You give it meaning. Give it meaning. So I hope that's made sense. If it hasn't, hit me up and ask me what I'm talking about, and I might be able to help out. Or just download my program, which is where I started anyway. That's where all of this came from, with this program. It got me healthier, fitter, stronger. It got rid of me jubblies. I had a pair of those, good pair of those, the little fatty deposits, which I've been getting rid of again actually, because of the old belt line of the what they're called, underpants, boxers was folding over, and I don't like that. And I'm going on holiday in 2 weeks, so I need to look good for that. So I was like, right, I'm going to sort that out, and it's been working. It all started with this program. It all started there. So, crack on, hit me up if you got any questions, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.